All, good morning. Welcome to this Facebook live session, which is on the transforming the Ayurveda using the modern day technology. I am Parag Kulkarni. I am the Chief Technical Officer at the Atreya Innovations Private Limited. So we are a technology company who are working into the Ayurveda space with a vision that transforming, digitalizing, and modernizing the Ayurveda so that we can take it to the world forum and tell the Ayurveda success story in the modern day language. So let's go through the journey of let's try to understand how does it work and what is the exciting future of Ayurveda and how can we transform it using the modern day technology. So I have prepared a couple of slides for that, and I'll try to take you through with the help of those slides. And if you have any comments or questions, they are most welcome into the chat section, and I'll try to address all of them. So, as many of us know, I'm pretty sure some of you must be the Ayurveda practitioner by yourself, or you must have gone for the consultation at Ayurveda clinic and have gone through the how does a diagnosis of Ayurveda work. So typically it has been always a face-to-face, a very personalized, questionnaire-based and a touch-based diagnostics, where the Ayurveda practitioners will ask you basic questions. Then they do the various the assessment of the patient using the various methodologies, which is called as Ashtanga Pariksha, which involves the Nadi Parikshan, the reading the face, tongue, the Akriti, and various bodily parameters. And based on that, a particular diagnosis will be done, and a treatment will be suggested. This process is very thorough. It is highly personalized in a sense. If the two people go with the same complaint during the same time frame, still a good Vaidya will try to identify the difference between the two patients based on the Ayurvedic principles, and correspondingly the treatment can differ. This is a very important aspect of the Ayurveda, which makes it perfect candidate for the transformation or the enhancement or the to address a bigger problem with the help of the technology. We'll see it in a few minutes. So at Atreya Innovations, we do recognize or we do look at the Ayurveda as the perfect candidate for the stream of the data science. So our founder, Dr. Anirudh Joshi, he himself is a data scientist, and I also come from the technology background, and so we look at this problem from the data science point of view. As many of us know, the primary aim of the data science nowadays, which is also called as an artificial intelligence or the machine learning, is basically to look at the problem, gather various inputs, try to classify them based on the predetermined clusters, and then predict what is going to the future data set. So this is how typically it has happened earlier also in case of the Ayurveda. So in my personal view, I always find the founders of the Ayurveda were the greatest scientists of the time. They have gone through the similar process. They have gone through the various, they have made a lot of observations with respect to they have done a lot of experiments, and they tagged all those observations against the complaints of their patients. And all of those inputs they have gathered were clustered into various using various tags. At abstract level, I would like to call those tags as a Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. It is a very bold statement that I am making, but that is how I look at the how the Ayurveda has been developed for the thousands of years. And we need to appreciate these efforts, because all of this has happened in their mind. So we just let us take a few seconds to admire the intelligence and the effort they must have put in analyzing so much of data and then putting into the right perspective. and then make a various decisions, and then make a various or they develop the complete thorough theory based out of those observations. So all of these steps now seems very relevant, very appropriate with the technology revolution that has happened with respect to the artificial intelligence and machine learning algorithms. And at Atreya Innovations, we try to fit the same process which has happened manually thousands of years ago by using the computer algorithms and the various instrumentations to make it more formal, more objective. So with that, we'll go to the next step. Why to do, first of all, what is the basic aim of the Ayurveda based or any kind of diagnostic methodology is to find, track, and then find how to fight against the various symptoms. In day-to-day life, because of the various lifestyles or various environmental conditions or etc., we tend to develop a lot of disorders or diseases. It is very important to identify what's the source of this disease or the disorder, that track the root cause of it, and then come up with the methodologies how to fight it. Now, if I have to do the same thing, what our ancestors has done the few thousands of years of few years ago. By the way, if you look at it, the way they have done this, the process or the process through which they have gone, it was very subjective. It was they were very highly skilled in terms of filling this in data information. They were actually gathering the data, but which was done in very subjective way, which needed I would say decades long years of practice to master it. If we have to take those benefits of Ayurveda across the world, obviously we cannot expect each and every practitioner or each and every person to develop that skill. It has to be done in a very convenient way. So that is where we see the instrumentalization is very, very important in any field of science, not alone in Ayurveda. That is one of the biggest drawbacks of Ayurveda has always been. Ayurveda has always been a very subjective science, and because of that, the story of the Ayurveda, the story of Ayurveda has never been told in the modern day language. With the help of data science, we are trying to transform the Ayurveda or tell the same story in the modern day language. Now, how to do that? In order to do any kind of data science or do any kind of develop any kind of computer algorithm that will do a lot of predictions or autonomously attain the high level of accuracy, you need to collect the data in very reliable, very repetitive manner. So that is where the first hurdle comes when it comes to the transforming Ayurveda using the modern day technology. There is a lack of instrumentalization in the field of Ayurveda compared to the allopathy. In allopathy, we have seen there is a revolution has happened, and today we see the instruments ranging from the blood pressure monitoring machine till the MRI scan. All sorts of instruments are available. Essentially, what this instrumentalization, what it caters to is it lets the practitioner to collect the data in a very standard format, where that practitioner, he or she, need not develop the skill to collect the data. Their job is only and only to interpret the data. It is analogous to, let us say, you are going to an allopathy doctor and they are performing an ECG of you. Now, in order to gather the ECG information, that practitioner need not listen to your heartbeats. That would have been very inefficient and very inaccurate and very subjective also. So we have an ECG machine. You go to hospital X or hospital Y. You need not have to bother about how my ECG is being captured. It has been standardized. The way ECG information is captured has been universally defined, and it won't differ from place to place. Now the practitioner's job is just to look at the waveforms of the ECG, captured ECG, and then analyze it. This is a benefit of instrumentalization for any stream of science. At Atreya Innovations, we took the first step to devise world's first pulse diagnostic machine called Nadi Tarangini, which exactly addresses this problem. You can see the image in the top right corner. In this image, this is a snapshot of the Nadi Tarangini machine that we have developed. It consists of the 3 sensors that has to be put at your Nadi location. It picks up the Nadi signal and gives it to the software stack that is running either on your desktop or on your mobile machine. What problem it has addressed is any practitioner who is intended to do the Nadi analysis did not require to grasp the skill of Nadi analysis using their fingers. Right from day one, they are enabled to collect the Nadi information, and their job is only and only to analyze that Nadi signal and then and do the diagnostic work. If you think it looks to be a very small step, having just an instrument to collect the Nadi, but if you see the benefits of that, or what it has done is it has enabled the nearly about some few lakhs of Ayurveda practitioners to perform the Nadi analysis right away. Another very important problem it solves is with this kind of instrumentalization. Now your all bodily signal which are expected to be in the to be captured in the subjective way as per the Ayurveda text has now digitalized, has come into the digital domain. And once it comes to the digital domain, you can do a lot of number crunching, you can do a lot of analysis, work on this particular data, and the whole science gets transformed from the subjective to the subjective knowledge to an objective. Now, 2 different doctors using the same instruments can discuss their patient using the same language, using the same set of numbers that can be understood universally, and it won't benefit just domestically, but now suddenly this idea becomes very portable when it comes to reaching the science at the global level, because it doesn't matter, or it doesn't require for those people who are not directly related to the Ayurveda. They themselves can also understand what we are talking about if they understand the language of these numbers. It has another greater advantage, having an instrumentalization into the Ayurveda, is now the Ayurveda can reach beyond the Ayurveda practitioners. Any B2B engagement who are trying to deal with the well-being of the people can start digesting data, and can they start using this data once it comes to a digital domain and once it becomes an objective. So it helps both creating a new opportunity in terms of the businesses, as well as for the research purpose. Once you have all the data captured in the number format, a lot of research, a very detailed, insightful, thorough research can be done. So these are just few of the benefits I have enlisted here, which are possible with the help of the instrumentalization. Nadi Tarangini is our first step towards it, and we have many more exciting products and many more exciting software modules that are coming up, as we will see in the next slides. So this is how I want to give you a hypothetical view of how will the modern phase of Ayurveda will look. Let us assume we reach to this goal of transforming the Ayurveda with the help of the digital revolution, or having the various cutting edge technologies involved into in the phase of Ayurveda. So think of a smartwatch which you are wearing. So nowadays we have a lot of smartwatches available in the market, but in my personal view, those smartwatches aren't really smart. All they are doing is basically they are just giving an indication. They are keeping track of your maybe palpitation, maybe they are keeping track of your walking, running activity, your sleep activity. That's all. All of this information is very superficial information in my view. There is no smartness in doing that, because I can just have a mobile in my wallet, in my pocket, and there are a lot of free apps that are available that I can install, and they will serve the same purpose. It need not be a smartwatch that needs to be there on my wrist. What we see as a real smartness is if this particular piece of technology, which is you are wearing on your body, is able to identify certain traits or certain conditions that you may develop in future, and if it can give you indications about them well time in ahead, so that is where the smartness lies. And one of the NCDs, the NCD stands for the non-communicable disorders. So in today's world, the non-communicable disorders is the I would say the biggest problem that has that is bugging the whole world, because of the lifestyle changes, because of the diet changes, etc. People are in their 30s are developing the heart conditions, they are developing the diabetes conditions, they are developing the hormonal imbalances. So many issues have been developed which were not even thought of a few years ago. If this piece of technology is able to predict to me that I am going to fall for an hypertension, or if I am going to fall for an diabetes, that would be the wonderful innovation, and that will bring the real smartness to this particular gadget. And as all of us know, that Ayurveda has that potential. Ayurveda has always been the science where the predictive analytics is very important role, and it has always been had the motivation to personalize the diagnostic method. So that is where I see the modern phase of Ayurveda. With the help of technology, which is implementing the Ayurvedic principles, they will be able to tell us or guide us where our body and mind is going towards. Are we going to develop? Are we going towards any new condition? Are we going to go towards any problem? And it will be indicated well ahead in time before we really fall for it, so that we can take a corrective action. Now, once, as we were talking about, the technology will transform this subjective knowledge into an objective knowledge. So once it becomes an objective, a lot of analytical work can be done, so that there is a potential of developing a lot of software suites that will crunch or that will digest these numbers that are coming from these gadgets. And they will do a lot of, or they will guide you autonomously with respect to what sort of diet changes, what sort of lifestyle changes you should make. And so imagine you are wearing a couple of sensors which are working on the Ayurvedic principles, and you have a mobile app that is to which they are connected, and you are being monitored 24/7. And based on that, you are getting an indications towards the short-term indications as well as the long-term indications, where you are heading in terms of your health, not only physical health but mental health as well. And it will give you the recommendations what you should do about it, what kind of dietary changes you should do, what kind of lifestyle changes you should do. It will automatically suggest you if it is required who is your nearest practitioner, Ayurvedic practitioners, if you are not really comfortable with just a fancy looking app giving you suggestions and following it blindly. It will connect with you for a teleconsultation or the face-to-face consultation with your nearby Ayurveda practitioners. So the whole look and feel of the Ayurveda will change, and it will become very, very accessible, very, very convenient for everyone. So that is where I see the how does the modern phase of Ayurveda will look like. It will become a very convenient, very simple, and very approachable to each and every person of the world. As well as I would like to see Ayurveda becoming an integrative and holistic. Many times people see there is a tug of war fight between the various streams of these medical sciences, the allopathy, Ayurveda, or homeopathy. But I like to think in a different perspective. All of these stream of sciences have the common goal of making the people healthier and keeping them away from any sorts of disease or disorders. If the aim is the same, only their approaches are different. The allopathy approaches the same problem from the different point of view, whereas Ayurveda approaches the same problem from the different point of view. And if you go deep, if you do the deep dive, you will see both the approaches are complementary to each other. They are not at all competing with each other. They are very much complementary to each other. There are certain goals that can be achieved in a short amount of time using the allopathic practices, and there are certain goals that can be achieved very easily using the Ayurvedic practices. If we combine both of them, we'll get the best of both the worlds, and that is where I see the modern phase of Ayurveda will be. Instead of competing with the allopathy, it will be a complementary, or the allopathy will be complementary to the Ayurveda practices, and Ayurveda will be complementary to the allopathy practices. And with this integrative approach, it will become a holistic, holistic kind of diagnosis and the treatment. And that is how we see this modern phase of Ayurveda is going to redefine how does the healthcare works for the whole world. What is the use of the technology if it cannot, deliver the benefits to the last person in the remotest corner of the world? Ultimately, the aim of any technology is basically take the advantages or make the life of a common person easy and convenient. So with this, with the help of these all modern gadgets, with the help of these various software, computer algorithms, and then so various software models that may run on your mobile application or on your web application or as in your desktop application, all of these integratively, I feel, will break the barriers of the countries and the ethnicity and whatsoever the barriers are there. And this will truly deliver the promise of the advantages of the Ayurveda to the every person wherever it is in any corner of the world. Then the boundaries doesn't matter basically. We have seen the same kind of revolution has happened in terms of in many fields, where sitting at home we are in touch with the with any person of the world. We can avail any sort of services, and it doesn't really bother am I sitting in India or am I sitting in US or am I sitting in the Japan. Everyone can encash the benefits of the technology that has brought the revolution. And Ayurveda, I feel, is the next thing that is going to achieve this particular feat. We have seen the similar, very analogous and very appropriate example is the yoga. Today, yoga has reached to the world, and everyone is appreciating the benefits of the yoga. And now it has crossed the barriers of the countries. The whole world is singing the song of the benefits of the yoga. So we very strongly feel if we introduce or if we take the help of the technology, Ayurveda is going to be the next valid and natural candidate where it can reach to the global level. So let us talk about at Atreya Innovations what is our vision about all of these things, whatever I have spoken. The well-being or the healthcare has always been has been very curative for many years, and now people are understanding the potential of preventive healthcare. Fortunately or unfortunately, because of the pandemic situation, people have understood the benefits or the advantages of the preventive healthcare. And now people wants to stay fit, or they want to avoid, and they recognize it is very much possible to identify the issues well in time before we really fall for them. And that is the very first Ayurveda 101 promise that we know we have, that Ayurveda works in a preventive way. Also, the total well-being is another very big aspect. With the help of modern medicine, telemedicine, and the integrative approach that we spoke, the total well-being is very much need of an hour. By total well-being, I mean it is not about only the physical well-being but as well as the mental well-being, because that we know Ayurveda when they look at a person, it doesn't look at only from the physical fitness point of view, because we very much believe that the mental health drives the well-being of the physical health also. So it is very much required for one particular person to be fit. The person has to be physically as well as mentally in good shape. And the next is many, particularly disorders, I wouldn't say about the diseases, but many disorders can be avoided or can be cured with a very small or very appropriate changes of your lifestyle. Because of the IT revolution or because of the nature of the work these days people have, lifestyle is the biggest enemy in the today's world, and many of the disorders are developed because of the incorrect lifestyle. So to be fit, to be mentally stressless, it doesn't take a lot. It's just a small lifestyle or the dietary changes that are required, which will bring the miracle to you. So in our vision, all of these aspects are addressed or can be addressed if we follow the Ayurvedic principles in order to achieve the overall well-being. How to do that? So we have, as I was explaining, we have already come up with an instrument called as a Nadi Taranini, which is the first step towards an Ashtavidya Pariksha, digitalizing and modernizing the Ashtavidya Pariksha. We are constantly working on the future products or the future ideas which will involve the other aspects of the Ashtavidya Pariksha, so that the complete 360-degree analysis of a person can be done, detailed diagnostics can be done. We have proven that many of the low-hanging fruits can be detected very well in advance. The advantage of that is manifold. It is having our customers healthy and happy is obviously the biggest rewarding advantage that it has. But this particular approach, having the so we are also working on to the launching the world's first Ayurveda based cloud platform that will let you analyze and it will let you predict the various disorders and various NCDs as well as the mental well-being components very well in advance, what is going to happen in future. By integrating these services and these particular solutions, we believe a lot of other businesses can be enabled to which will basically can encash the benefits of the Ayurveda. To just give an example, let us say you are ordering an food today from the Swiggy platform, and however the moment you try to order a particular pizza, let us say today is a Sunday, you try to order a pizza today, and the moment you try to hit the order pizza, a pop-up comes to you saying that based on your previous history, it looks like you are going through some digestive issues, so better you should avoid having a pizza over this weekend. Instead of that, here we suggest the healthier choices from the restaurants, foreign the restaurants, and then you can maybe think of ordering some food from one of these restaurants. So this is one of the examples how the other businesses can be enabled if they get access to the transformed Ayurvedic or the transform Ayurveda with the help of the technology. A lot of integration with other businesses, with other unrelated applications, a lot of value addition can happen. So this is our vision to enable other businesses by the modernizing or the digitalizing the whole Ayurveda space. And by doing so, suddenly Ayurveda will start talking into the modern day language that can be understood any person across the world. Same Ayurvedic principles can be easily very much transformed to any part of the world, because the biggest hurdle bringing Ayurveda to the world stage is many of the concepts are developed in the Indian context, considering the seasons that we have in India, the day and night cycles that we have in India, the kind of food and ingredients that we have available in India. how to migrate the whole knowledge base and apply them in the context of the global scale. So we are working towards that. We are applying the Ayurvedic principles that will apply directly to the various geographies, because the fundamental principles of Ayurveda are so universal. They can be applied. They just need to be transformed, and they can be applied in context of any geography or any person living any sort of lifestyle. So currently we are working on transforming those Ayurvedic principles that can be applied to any context wherever you are in the world. By doing so, by objectifying the Ayurvedic principles and then transforming them to the in context of various geographies, we believe we will be very much successful bringing Ayurveda to the world stage. And of course, last and not the least, our ultimate aim is to make everyone happier and healthier. So with that, I would like to see if any one of you have any questions on that. So okay, so I see some of the questions. Is allopathy and Ayurveda can share the similar instrumentation principles? That's a very good question. Will Ayurveda we believe the bodily parameters, some of the bodily parameters do overlap as far as the diagnostics goes, which follows allopathic and Ayurvedic principles. But even though we capture the same bodily signal, but the way the post-processing, the analysis will work, that will be completely different, and that may not be overlapping. So answer is yes and no. They do follow the same principles in terms of data collections, probably to some extent in some cases. But even in those cases, the way analysis that needs to be done will differ completely, because the philosophies are completely different. But here I want to reiterate, though they are completely different, they are complementary to each other. Will technology replace Ayurveda practitioners? No. That is biggest fear that has been raised, not only in this case but in many previous technological revolutions also. Will the technology revolution replace the role of the human? I don't think so, because what here in this context technology can do is bring you to a doorstep where it can identify various issues on that. But as far as the cure is concerned, or as far as the taking the final call is concerned, I think the Ayurveda practitioners will have always is going to have the last say. If it has to happen, I think by this time all the doctors belonging to the allopathy would have been jobless. So by using the same analogy, I don't think so there is any reason to consider that this technological revolution Ayurveda will basically replace the role of the Ayurveda practitioners. No, Ayurveda practitioners will be very much relevant and very much required. In fact, their role will become more prominent because those are going to be the flag bearers of this technology. How's the acceptance of Nadi Tarangini? Nadi Tarangini has been accepted very well. We have been so far in India across close to 500 Ayurveda practitioners are actively using Nadi Tarangini for a couple of years, and they have given we have got many appreciations and many testimonials about the accuracy, repeatability and reliability of the instrument, and they are really happy. It has also, not only in terms of diagnosis, but it has also helped them to boost their business and increase their customer satisfaction. So yes, the acceptance of Nadi Tarangin has been phenomenal, and it has helped both the Atreya innovations as well as the doctors who has adopted to this the particular instrument. Okay, I see only okay, those were the 3 questions. I would like to give just 1 more minute if anyone have any more questions. Okay, thanks all for joining this Facebook live session. I hope that was informative and it was helpful for you. So we are very much approachable over the email or the phone call. You can just visit our website www.naditarangin.com or www.atreyinnovations.com and reach back to us if you guys have any kind of question, query, etc. We are very much welcome to address your questions and queries. Thank you.